the tweet that I sent out about you can make your own fortune, you can get your own swanky New York City apartment, and also find somebody who wants to be with you on Valentine's Day and have children with you and stay with you, was in response to Ashley St. Clair, the Elon alleged baby mama. That was about her, because that, to me, is not an okay choice. You want to bang a billionaire and have his kid? Whatever, that's between you and the billionaire. But then you may not play the victim when he doesn't turn out to be Prince Charming on Valentine's Day wanting to spend his day with you. Shock, shock. It's not actually a loving partnership. You know, she clearly wanted to have his child and get on the Elon support program. Her earlier tweets make that clear. So she did it. That's it. She got exactly what she bargained for. And I don't feel sorry for her at all that he doesn't want to be a good boyfriend to her and may or may not be dicking her around. I mean, he's claiming he's not, but whatever. That's my point.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a question for you because, look, I'm personally disgusted with the fact that he's like having all these children with different women. And for a long time, you know, that was one of the areas where I agreed with conservatives, right? Like conservatives would be pretty judgmental toward men that would act that way or behave that way. Now, I see that very differently from someone who established a family, but for whatever reason, the marriage falls apart. They unfortunately get a divorce. And then later on in life, he finds someone else and has another family, right? I don't want to be too judgmental toward people like that. Life happens. It is what it is. But with Elon Musk, it's like he's intentionally having children with different women. I don't think that's something to celebrate. And I'm kind of shocked that conservatives haven't been more willing to kind of, you know, criticize him for that. And I get, by the way, I agree with you with Ashley St. Clair. What did you expect, Ashley? He had already had a bunch of children from different women prior to you having his child, allegedly. You know, we don't know for sure the paternity, and he's called it into question. But I don't understand why it's okay to celebrate a guy who's this careless and irresponsible with bringing children into this world.
I don't even know it's carelessness. I mean, I think it's, in this case, it may have been with Ashley St. Clair, if indeed it's his child. But with the other women, it's like most of these are IVF babies, at least the ones who have come in the past few years. 2 women at the same time impregnated, if I'm not wrong, with twins of Elon's via IVF. So very clearly an intentional choice by all involved.
Right.
So, you know, like, I don't know what that's about. If I ever get to interview Elon, maybe he'll tell me. But I know he's like seriously committed ideologically to slowing population rates. He really feels that there's a societal responsibility to repopulate. And I know it's like the joke, oh, he's doing his part, but I actually think that's what he's doing. Now, what happens to these babies who grow up without a father? That very valid question. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think I like the answer to that. I think the reason most people give Elon a pass is because he's just such a larger than life figure who's about just so much more than his personal life that it almost just gets shrunk. It's like talking about, like, you know, Thomas Jefferson with his affair partner. It's like, we don't really care. He's Thomas Jefferson, for the love of God. Like, some people are so much larger and doing so much good for society, depending on your viewpoint, that it just seems like minutia. It seems petty and small ball to pay attention to those things. But wait, I want to say one other thing about Ashley St. Clair, because she got back into the news on, it was just the other day. She was like trying to sell her Tesla because she's claiming she's a pauper now. Here she is.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. How would you characterize sort of the way that he's going about you and
You can check the stocks. I am I'm not the only one who's cleaning up after his messes.
I'm not the only one cleaning up after his messes. After she posted that of her allegedly selling her Tesla, he posted on X, I don't know if the child's mine or not, but I am not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I've given Ashley $2.5 million and am sending her $500,000 a year. Then she fired back. We asked you to do a paternity test and you wouldn't, but she doesn't dispute. Well, she says, you weren't sending me money. You were sending support for your child that you thought was unnecessary until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for, quote, disobedience. But you're really only punishing your son. All right. So first of all, 2.5 million, like she's not disputing she got that. She's saying, you're my $500,000 a year. I guess he took some of it away. How many women out there who get pregnant by a man they're not married to get a check for 2.5 million? She doesn't get it. Like that's what made me send that post. It's not about that post. But my point is simply to a young woman who wants a fabulous New York apartment because she was bragging about how swanky it was to the New York Post. You can do that. You don't have to bang a billionaire and have a love child. By the way, it's her second who she had out of wedlock before she turned 30. In order to pave your own path with gold. I said to Britt Hume when I was young, and I divorced my first husband with whom I'm still friendly, but he had just become an attending physician. I was married to him during med school and residency and internship. We had no money. And I said, I'm the worst gold digger of all time. And Britt Hume said to me, forget that. Dig your own gold. And that's really my message for her. Dig your own damn gold. It's so disempowering for people like this to think their path to the golden road is screwing some rich guy and then hijacking him for millions.
Totally. In Armenian, there's a phrase, it's called tsak achk, and that means when you are eyeing other people's wealth, when you're eyeing other people's hard-earned, income, and when you want it for yourself, you want to take it for yourself. And so, growing up, I just remember my parents really instilling in me, don't look at other people's money, don't look to take from others, look toward the future and how you can build for yourself. And I'm really, really grateful that I had that upbringing because I love freedom. Okay. And honestly, in America, in any capitalist society, freedom means you're able to earn your own living and you're not reliant on anyone else. You're not reliant on your husband. Let me be clear, believe in a robust social safety net. And I would like to make ours more robust here in the United States because sometimes things happen, people lose their jobs, they get laid off and they need a little bit of help. However, being independent and not needing help from anyone is like the definition of freedom for me. It's wonderful. Because I get to make my own decisions. I get to marry the man that I love without being worried about whether or not he has enough earning power. And I think that's really the main reason why I'm in a happy marriage, to be quite frank.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I mean, like I married my husband, he was making a lot more money than I was at the time. And then eventually that switched just because media is such a crazy industry. But it's wonderful that we met and fell in love when the roles were reversed. I love that about us. Neither one of us has to worry. He doesn't have to worry that I'm a gold digger and I don't have to worry that he's one. We married each other because we fell in love. I was already a professional. I was already on television and had been a lawyer. In any event, I want options for our young women. I want them to be able to make whatever choice that works for them without getting ashamed. But I also think it's important that there are options, right? It's like in the same way the 1950s women couldn't find jobs because they weren't out there. I don't want us to get to the point where young conservative women can't find husbands because they're not willing to look at a young woman who actually does have a career. This is not a solution.
And let me just say one other thing. There are some female conservatives that I listen to specifically because I want to be well-rounded and understand what, people believe and where they're coming from on the opposite side of the political spectrum. Amber Duke is a good example. She's one of the hosts over at The Hill. I love her, right? I don't agree with her on some things, but that's okay. I'm way more willing to listen to what you have to say or what Amber Duke has to say as a woman on the left, because your communication style is more inviting to people like me, women on the left. I think that the trad culture is really kind of hurting itself by advocating for the removal of an entire group of conservative women from public spaces, from the media, who I think speak to or have a better communication style that could be persuasive to folks on the left.
Tariff wars, stubborn inflation, no wonder gold's been routinely hitting all-time highs. In volatile markets like the one we have now, don't sit on the sidelines. You can take control and safeguard your savings. That's why so many are turning to Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into one in physical gold. It's time for you to hedge against the economic instability with gold. Text MK to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Text MK to 989898. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews. Birch Gold is there for you. MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.